Hi, everyone. Hope you're having a fantastic day wherever it started. Today, we're going to look at stock splits with Google Sheets. And first, what I'm going to draw your attention to is Tesla. On August 31st, 2020, Tesla enacted a 5-for-1 stock split. And what I had done here was I took pictures from Yahoo Finance. So if you go to Yahoo Finance, let me make this bigger for you. And if you click on the graph to go to the 1 year or whatever, I've been going max. You want to go click on the max so that you see the entire history of the stock, Tesla stock. And if you want to see if they offered any stock splits, if you go up to events, you might have noticed while we were doing dividends, right underneath it, it says stock splits. So if you click that event on, anytime you see an S means that that company offered a stock split. So as you can see, Tesla only offered one stock split. And if you position your cursor on it, it even tells you what the split was, the 5-for-1, and the date it happened on, August 31st, 2020. Okay, the reason I brought up Tesla was because we showed a video at the very beginning of this unit. I think it was the third day that we did stocks. Mr. Fields was doing the video, and we had looked up Tesla, and we were seeing what the price was on, I think it was in December. So for the students who were in my class that day, I said, hey, we can just do this live. And we brought it up, and the two numbers didn't match. The one on the video did not match what we were getting live in class. And the reason why was Mr. Fields recorded that video in May of 2020. Tesla offered a stock split in August of 2020. So when a stock split gets offered, like they did the 5-for-1 split, it goes and it affects the historical data because it applies that split. So on the video, the one on the left here is the historical chart prior to the split. I just screenshot off of Mr. Fields' video. So on the video, Mr. Fields is showing on April 28th, 2020, the stock opened at $795.64. But when I went to the historical chart yesterday and did the same date, notice it's saying it opened at 159.13. If we take 795.64 and divide it by 5, because if it's a 5-for-1 stock split like we learned yesterday, we would take the price. Hold on a second. I'm just going to get a free screen here. If I do equals 795.64, if I multiply that by the 1/5, because the stocks are going to go up, you're going to multiply your number of shares times 5, but you're going to multiply the price by 1/5, the reciprocal. You end up getting 159, 128, and if I round that to money, I get 159.13. And if we look over here on the historical chart I did yesterday, there's the 159.13. So this is what we saw last year in May 2020. If you go and look up the same prices, the same dates, if you notice all the numbers are different. And that's because when a stock split goes in, it's not just changing it from that point forward. It goes back and rolls through all of the numbers and acts as if it was already in place. So just be aware that if stock splits are happening and you go through the historical table, it has applied that split already to the chart in Yahoo Finance. All right, let me just bring this down a little bit more. So again, you can take any of these numbers, divide it by 5, and it'll match over here. So the chart on the right is the historical chart after the split. The one on the left is the historical chart prior to the split. So I thought that was pretty cool that we were able to freeze time on our video to basically show this whole concept and how it happens. Okay, so here's the Yahoo chart, and it's showing also the stock split of 5-for-1. So what we're going to do today is I started this little spreadsheet for you, traditional stock splits. And all of these are going to be traditional. There's not a reverse one in them. So looking at Tesla, they had one stock split that they've offered for the lifetime of Tesla. And it happened on August 31st, 2020. and they offered a 5-for-1 stock split. That's how they write it. See, 5:1. That's what it's there. So we're going to pretend that we purchased some of this. Well, these numbers are off. Let me fix my numbers. Yours will be fixed. Go to this, making it a 4 or 3, excuse me, and making this a 4. Okay, so Tesla's first initial public offering on NASDAQ on June 29th, 2010, they issued 13.3 million shares of common stock for the public at a price of $17 per share. In this scenario, we're going to pretend I purchased 50 shares of Tesla stock at the IPO price. So the question is, how much did I spend on those 50 shares on that date? So I had 50 shares. We're going to do equals 50 times, and it was $17. So I'll say 17. So the 50 shares cost me $850. Now I just sit on those shares, those 50 shares. Then the stock split comes on August 31st, and it was a 5-for-1 stock split. So that means I had 50 shares, but I'm going to multiply it by 5, right? My shares are going up, 5-for-1. This number is bigger. You're multiplying your shares. So I'm going to multiply it by that 5. So instead of having 50 shares of Tesla, because of that 5-for-1 split, I now have 250 shares of Tesla. The price of the stock on that day would have been divided by 5 or multiplied by a 5th, either way you want to look at it. Okay, but right now I'm happy because my 50 shares is now turned into 250 shares, and I can continue to sit on the Tesla stock. I'm wondering what it closed at yesterday. So I'm going to come over to Yahoo Finance. I have Tesla up already. And Tesla closed, I'm looking at it on, Wednesday evening. So tomorrow you'll be able to take this number right here, the previous close. Tesla closed at 670.94 today. So 670.94. So I'm going to come back to my chart and say it closed at $670.94. So the question is, if I sold all my shares at the closing price, let's go with 5521, not the 54. Yours will say 55. That would be equals, click on your shares, and you're going to multiply it by the closing price. So if I sold my shares yesterday, the original 50 I bought turned into 250 because of that stock split. I would have sold it for $167,735. So what would my profit be? I have to take what I sold it for, $167,000, and subtract my original price that I paid for those shares. So my profit would be $166,885. That's why some people are very interested in stock splits, because if they believe that the stock is still going to continue to rise, look at how this came back again from August. What was it? August 28th, prior to the split, it was $795. And after the split, the opening price was $159. So the price goes down so you can get more people interested. But then that price continued to climb with the new shares, and it climbed all the way back up to $670.94. So it's almost approaching the pre-split price. And if you got 5 shares for every one that you had, you're a happy camper right now. Okay, we're going to look at one more, and then I'm going to send you off on to do 3 on your own. Okay, the next one we're going to look up is Amazon. So what I did to get this information here, this is what you'll be doing. I went to Yahoo Finance. I looked up Amazon. You can note the close value. So Amazon closed at $3,270.54. So I can put that in there, $3,270.54. But to find out when the stocks split, I'm going to click on my graph, and you want to choose max. so that you can see the entire grid of Amazon stock. And if you go up to events, instead of clicking on dividends, we're going to click on stock splits. So if you notice, 3 S's appear over here. So they had a 2-for-1 stock split on June 2nd, 1998. They had a 3-for-1 stock split on January 5th, 1999. And they had a 2-for-1 stock split September 2nd, 1999. That's where these values came from. That's where I got the date and the stock split. The date, stock split, the date, stock split. Okay, Amazon had its public offering on the NASDAQ on May 15th, 1997 at a price of $18 per share. So when they got on and were publicly traded, you could buy their shares at $18. So we're going to pretend I purchased 50 shares of Amazon stock at the IPO price. So how much did I spend on the 50 shares? That's going to be 50 times $18 because that's how much it was per share. So I buy 50 shares, I spend $900. Now I just sit on my stock. On June 2nd, it had a 2-for-1 stock split. That means I get 2 stocks for every one that I have. I'm going to be multiplying my number of shares by 2. So I had 50 shares. Now I'm going to multiply that by 2. After the stock split, I now have 100 shares. I sit on those 100 shares. I sit on them, and on January 5th, 1999, they do a 3-for-1 split. So that means I get 3 shares for every one that I had. Well, I have 100 right now, so I'm going to do equals, click on that 100, and I'm going to multiply it by 3. Now I have 300 shares. I'm happy. And I continue to hold on to my stock, my Amazon stock. They have another stock split. September 2nd, 1999, they do a 2-for-1. Well, guess what? My 300 shares, I'm going to click on that, times, it's a 2-for-1, so this time it's times 2, double, and now I have 600 shares of Amazon stock. I decide to sell the stock at yesterday's closing price. So I'm going to say equals, click on the number of shares I have. I now have 600 shares times the closing price as of yesterday. Woohoo! I'm a millionaire. Look at that. Oh, wait a minute. I forgot to subtract my original cost. So what was my original cost? $900. So my profit is going to be the $1.9 million minus the $900 I originally invested. Mama's a happy camper. All right. I have 3 other companies here, AT&T, Netflix, and Starbucks. You're going to do the same thing. Each one, a little piece is missing. Each time there's a little bit more that you have to go and get. So for AT&T, I put down the dates of the stock splits and what they are, 3-for-1, 2-for-1, 2-for-1. You have to go look up the closing price of AT&T. Then you're going to fill out these 6 values using the formulas like we did over here. Okay, Netflix, when you get to Netflix, I gave you the dates of the splits, but you're going to have to go to Yahoo Finance, click on the graph, go to Max, make sure your events has stock split selected, and then you're going to see the S's pop up, and you're going to look on the S's so it'll tell you what the split was. So you got to fill out the splits here. And you also have to fill in the closing price. Once you have that, you're going to go answer these 5 questions. So they split twice, Netflix. Your last one is Starbucks. They split 6 times so far. You're going to go look up, just like you did with Netflix, go look up Starbucks, go to the Max graph, turn on the splits, and see what the splits were. What did they offer? You also have to fill out the closing value as of yesterday. And again, now you're answering 9 questions. The reason there's more questions is because there was more splits. So wait till you see what you make with your Starbucks. Okay, once you have all that done, just turn in your completed spreadsheet. Make sure these are filled in with formulas. If you have any questions, sign into the Google Meet and we will help you out. Have a great day.